So it's energy. You can stick your finger in an electric socket and you're getting zapped on it, but you can see it was a shock, but you still can't define what energy is, what the electricity is. So this electricity is a dynamic, a vital aliveness of experience, of doing, of being. And but with Mars, instead with the Sun, we're looking at our confidence or ego, which is often tied up to what we can do or can't do. So we're going to have our successes and failures, our battles in life coming up in the way of where our Mars is. Just going to do things. If someone's trying to do things with you, they're going to run into whether you're doing it together or you don't want to be quite smothered. They're going to have to always want to work with someone else. They want to have your time alone. Some people don't want to take that time alone. They want to have the extra time to relax together or to do things together. So when Mars is in the darkness and is greater, the Libra, Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, the Mars is trying to be involved with other people. It's trying to impress other people. It's trying to get the experience of other people, pushing for the relationship, pushing for sexuality, pushing for the teamwork and the shared, pushing for discipline, pushing for a better knowledge of how to drive it, pushing for or the friends to do it with, pushing to see how everybody pushes their own way, and you have the Piscean element to it. So even though the daylight increasing and nighttime increasing is functioning there primarily, here you see the bias. Teamwork, independence. And Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Mars can think it's doing things for the family, think it's doing for everyone else, but really, I'm doing it, don't tell me what to do. You have to do this, I have to do this. It can do things, but it's not going to do things with the same insight of where the other person is and what they have to do. They're going to assume they have to do it the same way. So they can be pushing their kids or themselves too strongly or too severely. Again, someone with the Mars in the nighttime increasing side can be doing things and pushing other people very severely because this is the way it has to be done, and can be pushing for the team. The group is always bigger than the individual, and you're always having to fit into that. So Mars immediately goes to Jupiter in the understanding that guides the Mars, because Mars can get you into too much trouble by forcing things, and it can hurt people, and it can create difficult karma or bad experiences that can accumulate. So it's hard for a bully or a drunken addict to get off the street and change and get culture back in their life, to be able to relate to other people. Wouldn't matter what sign, but you see the style in which each one would have to do it. I mean, if someone's had a broken heart, or they're the alcoholic or whatever, and they've been affected by their influence, been damaged or rejected by someone else, they're almost going to need approval, or why would I bother? So their energy, their Mars energy, gets damaged by interaction with others, and by they're not so quick to take that strength without looking over their shoulder or getting that approval. Or sometimes they may have to be pushing so that they can get that approval and overcome that. Whereas the Mars in the daylight increasing, or daylight is greater, is going to be pushing independently anyways. They may have a heartbreak, but they're not going to be thinking they have to get the effects. They may disconnect a little bit more to be doing their own thing and not be quite so. They'd be easy to show someone how good they are, but they wouldn't be quite so responsive to the other person, except to prove that they could do better, which can be a really good quality, may not be. Okay, so it's simple. We could spend a day, we could spend a week just on any one of these categories, looking at different people's charts, famous people's charts, family people's charts, and seeing it work, watching it work. Because I've taught for so many years, I've gone through these steps all the time. I have a fairly good experiential way of seeing the planet in a chart and understanding it experientially. But Mars is your, like, so Mercury, seeing the different layers. But Mars is your experiences. What kind of experience do you have? How have you done it? How strong? How did you get away with it? What didn't you do? What did you do? What happens when you're encouraged to go? What happens when you're stopped or someone gets in your way? How does that Mars work? Then you're going to be seeing these temperaments come up, and you see these influences happening. So then when you put them together, you see the 4 seasons. And really, you could go to the 4 seasons right away, but I like to separate them and see each the movement forward, movement towards freedom, movement towards responsibility, the blatant freedom and the blatant responsibility, or concern with others. So when we put the 4 seasons, again, we have the daylight, winter, daylight's increasing, but I want to be more free. I want to do my own things, but nighttime is greater, so there's always more people doing things, and I have to get around other people, so I can't just blatantly impulse. I have to work around other people to get my freedom. I'm going to fight for it in inches. So the Mars in Capricorn is going to be much more, I'll get the discipline to do it, I'll do it, but it's cautious. That darkness is greater caution is going to seem like inhibition when a child's younger, but they'll get the plan, they'll get the discipline, and then they'll go. They won't just go blatantly. They have some other responsibilities or sensitivities around it. That's the nighttime is greater. Same with an Aquarius. Is going to get a plan to do things, is determined to do things, but there's so many other people in the way, they can't do it right away. They'll have a plan to do it. It's the delayed action towards independence. It's still moving towards the independence, but there's a delayed direction that doesn't show quite so clearly. It's there, but it's a little more hidden in that darkness. And the same with Pisces. There's so many ways, so many things to do. How can I choose which things? I want to do something, or I want to do a bunch of things, but I'm not sure which it is. And they can go through so many choices by seeing how many people do things different ways, how many different ways there are to use experiences, how many different experiences one can get. So these are, the nighttime is greater. It takes a little more, it's more complicated for them to do their own thing, and they need a little bit more preparation. Otherwise, they're very strongly influenced by their peer group and just doing whatever the peer group is doing, successfully or not. So that's the social factors being stronger, and the individuals being there and trying to get something. Like if someone's new at a school and you change your school at 13 or 14, you're not known. It's difficult to be part of the team. And so that's the story, but when you put it down to a person, you can see this attitude somewhat there in the Mars. And maybe someone to develop their Mars, maybe they're a kid in school, they develop a team thing. They go do something with a team. They go out and do something with others. When you have the Mars in the springtime, the daylight's increasing and the daylight is greater. So it's trying to be more independent, and it's more independent than responsible to begin with. So the Mars is very blatant in Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. I'm doing this, I'm doing more, I'm going for it more. I don't care what you're thinking, I'm going to do this. You're going to get my way, good luck. It has that, a Taurus, it has this determination. If it doesn't want something, it's not going to do something. It's hard to force someone to do something they don't want. And Gemini are doing so many things on their own, they think they're stupid if you're trying to tell them to just do this or that, because they'll figure another way to get around it. So that independence builds up. Independence is greater. They're the independent processors, the independent. They do things on their own more than anyone else, and they're trying to do it more on their own. They're trying to get more experience for themselves, not because it means anything to anyone else, just because they've done another thing. But you got one more thing to do. Whew. When you get the nighttime increasing, I'm talking out to you, like I don't have this memorized. I'm just talking this out to you, making the associations that are the roots of developing the meaning. And as soon as you see that's there and you see that connection to the Mars, and then you see the connection of the person and how they're using it, when you start seeing it connects, it's easy to embellish this and go further with it. So when it comes to rehab or redirecting someone, or oh geez, so many ways this comes up. Everyone goes out to go to school, but not everybody has the same experiences. So okay, nighttime increasing, daylight is greater. So it's summertime, it's still bright out. You want to do your own thing, but the nighttime's increasing. You want to do things in context to others. I want to have a home. That means taxes. Other people live in it. There's going to be some commitments. I want to have kids. That means a partner, other things to have your kids. It's my kids, but I got my husband, my kids. They're still coming on my terms. The daylight is greater. And the same with the work I'm doing. I'm perfecting what I'm doing it my way. So the Mars, it's like something. Often Mars is like you see in the career you're doing as an adult. Not just your sexuality, it's not just the way you walk down the street, it's the career, it's the things you do. And also negatively, the things you don't do. I'll never do that. So it's okay to be a little mystified or be wondering about it, but you just go through the routine, and as you're working with someone's chart, it'll come in, you'll see it. As you meet someone, you'll run it. You'll know the energy anyways. So you know the energy of your parents, you know the energy of your kids. This is no brainer. You can see this. But expecting them to do it the same way as you is not always the right way. So these little differences are the ways to help build up someone's confidence or help build up someone's strength and help them get new experiences or stronger experiences. So with the nighttime increasing, it's in context to others, in context to others, but on my terms. So the Mars is doing things, they expect other people to notice them. I did this. Didn't you see me do this? You see me? I did this for you. I did it. Like, they want the applause. They're doing things to get the attention and the applause. And as it goes along, when you get into the fall and winter, you're still trying to do things for others, but suddenly it gets more. Well, why have a home if there's no one in it? You know, like it comes to having relationships, committed relationships, sexual exchanges, trust, and understanding of togetherness. So the team spirit really builds up in the Libra, Scorpio, and Sag. I'm doing it for you. This is it. I need you. I can't live without you. We got to understand it. Or, like, the nighttime is increasing. They're trying to belong and wanting to belong more. I'm doing this. You want to do things so that other people value you, or so that you're accepted more, so you're part of things more. And when you're not, it's a bigger rejection. And then you try and find out how to do things more in context again, to fit in again, or to make another group to fit that you do fit in with. But the Mars and Aries towards Gemini wouldn't be processing like that. But when you have your Sun Mars together, it really is powerful to see it. When they're opposite signs, you can have the two factors, opposing factors going on. And this is the magic of the zodiac. We have all these different planets, all these different signs. The same signs, they're coloring each planet. So we have all the 12 signs, they're accentuated differently. So depending on what sign each planet is in, that planet picks up the energy of that sign. And we're trying to manifest it, trying to make it happen for better or worse. Okay, so once we get this basic attitude, this is the, I think you take the time and read on these first 2 or 3 categories to get a bearings on it, to observe, to see the chart, to observe, to look at it. And then once you've picked up this attitude of going towards freedom and responsibility or belonging or doing your own thing, then you get to the masculine and feminine signs. And when you get to the masculine and feminine categories, you're going to project this attitude or you're going to reflect on it. So Mars in a projective sign is going to push its energy out. It's going to be active, dynamic. I've got to do it. It's not even thinking, I'm just doing it. Get out of my way. They're going to drive fast. They're going to go make things happen. They're using their energy, and whatever they're doing, they're projecting it out. They're not necessarily reflecting on what they're doing. So even though the Mars and Aries or Gemini and Leo is going to be just doing it on their own independence, Libra, Scorpio, Sag, and Aquarius Mars would be doing it with others, but it would still be doing it and expecting other people to go along with it. You know, but the Aries, Gemini, Leo would be doing it, expecting to get applause whether other people went along with it or not. But this projection, it's the fire and air signs, the masculine signs, and they project. And if Mars is in those signs, it's going to try and prove things. It's going to project its force. It's going to project its anger. It's going to project its rage. If it's rage, it's going to project it. If it's angry, it's going to put it out. It's not going to hold it in. So it'll compete outwardly. It's going to increase that competitiveness outwardly. It'll increase it trying to do things, but it will make it harder to be held back. Like you're playing on a team and the coach just sit on the bench. It doesn't make sense to a Mars and a masculine sign. When it says go, you're ready to go. So you can see the team and sitting on the bench. You can put it into the same scenario as a sexual relationship. Who's taking initiative? Who's doing things? Who's waiting? Well, the Mars in a projective sign is going to be trying to do things for you more than it's going to be waiting for you to do things for them. So they could easily push the energy out and get the experience, male or female, can still be projective, but they're not going to be so natural on the response. They want to prove they can do something for you, or push they can do something, but more than wait to see what somebody else can do.